Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at nbnrpodcast.com.
We have a saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know what you just did?
You get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Dang on it, Muhammad!
GBR.
I love it.
It's so much more relaxed. Not having to yell at him every week.
And it's just less stressful for me too. Just let it play.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
You know,
Stress guy over here. It's a bye week.
It's a bye week. Just no win, no loss. Let's just relax.
Just zen.
Just zen. Go Big Red indeed. No Block, No Rock, Season 4, Episode 9 coming at you from the Nebraska Brewing Company Tap Room in La Vista, Nebraska, 68128. Fellas, let's go around and talk about what we are drinking. I will start. Pickle fight, not the spicy version because I am
Soft.
weak. We'll go with soft.
Yeah.
Weak maybe, but soft definitely. But it's so good. I'm muted.
Yeah, your mic is dead. That's a
Boom.
there. Oh,
It's the core.
Yep, you guys always give me the crappy one,
Yeah.
which doesn't
Every
make any
time.
sense.
that's because we
But-
don't like you.
Anyway, pickle fight, which is not canned,
It is
canned?
actually. You can get it here, but only inside the tap room.
only in the tap room can you get it, and on tap as well. So
Only the regular you can only get here, but there is another version. We'll get to
there
that in a
is,
minute.
there is. We will get there. Don't worry. Mike, what you got?
I am drinking the best beer on tap at the brewery. It is the EOS Hefeweizen, the best beer probably in the state, if I had to guess. But
You can say world.
world, I don't know, because you wouldn't agree with me. So
I wouldn't.
yes, it is
It's-
probably the best beer in the state of Nebraska. There's nothing to compare it to. So great beer. KB, what you got?
I am also drinking the EOS Hefeweizen in this fancy aluminum cup that keeps my beer cold and refreshing. That's really all I have to say about that.
All you and your fancy aluminum cups.
Yes.
I got the nice plastic one.
Connor, we know.
So we are. You know what I'm drinking. I am drinking the Pilsner, but I am keeping track. If you guys did not see on our Instagram, Facebook, whatever, we have this fancy bingo board in front of us that who made this for us?
Nick from Virginia.
Nick from Virginia.
Shout out Nick from Virginia.
So we did have the drink and the Pilsner as our free space today. We did also essentially give ourselves another free space with mentioning Nebraska Brewing Company.
Yeah.
So those are both out. You're only 3 spots away from a bingo, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So shout out Nick from Virginia. We really appreciate it. We are using it.
Heck yeah, we are.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Okay. We are going to throw it over to our special guest. We have with us David Schumacher. He works for Hurrdat Sports as a social media strategist. Do I have that
I do.
correct?
Yep.
What do you got in your cup over there?
So this is the spicy
Pickle fight.
pickle fight. Spicy
Yeah.
pickle fight. It's delicious now. It's probably gonna kick my ass later.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
spicy. It's not like punch you in the face spicy,
Yeah.
but it's definitely there.
Oh yeah, no, it tastes just like pickle juice going down, and that spice kind of creeps up your throat.
Dude, I'm telling you, do you like red beers?
Yes,
That is
yes.
that is a killer.
Come on.
red
Yes,
beer.
we just had an argument about this in the office.
Yep.
Nobody likes red beers.
They're wrong.
Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
They're wrong.
Yeah.
But so we talked about the regular pickle fight only available in the tap room. Spicy pickle fight now, as of today, available in retailers across Omaha, and I think actually even as far as like Fremont. I don't know if it made it out to North Platte. It might have. I think it might have, but
Okay.
it is available statewide in retailers, your Hy-Vees, gas stations, whatever. But you can find that one anywhere. The regular, you got to come to the tap room.
We love that.
That spicy one just sits there.
I
Yeah, it does.
like
You know what I mean?
that,
Just
though.
sits there, and people like that. And I'm just like, well, if I'm going to be talking,
Yeah.
No, I like
I don't
that.
know.
I don't even like pickles in general, besides sweet ones. But then we get the pickle, like the spicy pickle one. I'm like, yeah, I
yeah.
fuck with that.
Yeah.
So I'm in.
well, guys, come to the tap room, 108th and Harrison, La Vista, Nebraska. Connor, help me out. World class.
In every glass.
Indeed. All right, guys. It was a bye week. It was a relatively relaxed weekend. Watched a few games. I think I did have a commenter on here say congratulations to all the newlyweds that got married over the bye week.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even with that said, there are still some people out there, don't ask me why, but they're still going to get married while Nebraska has a home game.
I'm actually going to one this Saturday.
Don't get it.
That's just
Help me understand.
that's just not going to work. I'm sorry. Like,
Help me.
some of us season ticket holders. I don't know if you guys know this, but
Mike's a season ticket holder.
Yeah. So
You're kidding.
crazy. I've
Since
never
when?
said it. It should be on the bingo card. But like, some of us invest a lot of time and money, especially time, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I'll send a card.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. I'm not going to offend anybody.
Listen, like from a guy that's worked 50 plus weddings over the last 3 years, I've worked several Nebraska game day weddings. And I'll tell you, just looking out at your guests, all of them are on their phone, just watching the Nebraska game.
They don't care about
or
you.
they're like sneaking around, looking at their phone. Like it's the worst time. Like there's nobody there is having a good time.
It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
It's just
Nobody is paying attention to your love.
Your special
Your day.
the wedding I have this Saturday, I believe is like a 3:00 wedding, reception at 6 or 6:30. It's like, I'm showing up the second the game ends. Like, I'm not coming to your ceremony. It's one of my best friends. And Alex, I'm sure you're listening, maybe even watching live. I will not be there for your ceremony. I will be there the second the Husker game ends, but you're not getting me there a second sooner. That's just a fact.
I don't know if it's because brides, they just, Nebraska sucked. Why do you still care?
Yeah.
Oh my
we're
God.
just gonna schedule our wedding on this day because Nebraska sucks. Why do you still care? Your friends don't care, do they?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do actually.
All of us.
And the bride thing, there's one thing about brides in wedding days in football games.
God.
You have the ones that are like, okay, I know that we did this to you guys, but we're going to have TVs and we're going to have the game on.
Right.
That's a dog.
And then there is the majority of brides.
The majority.
I call them the majority because every time I've been to a wedding on a Husker game, I don't go to home ones, but anytime I go to a wedding on a Husker game, they don't have TVs.
Yep.
They want the day to be about them.
Yeah. How
And-
dare they?
Yes. And it's like,
Saturday and
listen
football
here.
season. It's not about you.
yes, it's not about you. We only get 12 of these. That's it.
They
You get
have
12.
They have 40 other Saturdays a year.
Yes.
40.
Figure it out.
This one I want to
There's
watch
a-
Nebraska was by
there's-
40.
We are now.
Yes.
There's another tile from the bingo card down. We are 2 away, and I have a feeling that one of those is definitely going.
If you're watching us live right now, make sure you guys throw comments, questions in the chat. We're talking about weddings on game day Saturdays. What do you feel about that? Jared, you're about to say something. What do you got?
Just, you know how girls are. It's fall. I love fall. And I like to wear my Ugg boots and my sweatpants.
Basic.
Jesus Christ, we get it. I want to have my wedding with all the leaves falling. And can be pretty. God.
hey, I'm not talking shit on women or men that want to have their wedding in the fall. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But you have to understand there are more important things than you. And the main one is Husker football.
Hey, how about the folks that had the Illinois Saturday? They had that scheduled as their wedding, and it comes out and goes, yeah, we're doing that on Friday now. They're like, thank God.
Oh.
Like they got bailed out so hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone's saying anything in the chat.
Oh, we got a couple comments. We got Mr. Paul Calvalack said Ben to 1 iPhones and earbuds. People thought I was security. Then we have our friend Nick from Virginia. He did say I got married in the spring.
Good boy.
Good man.
Nick, that does not surprise us.
Yeah.
He's a good egg.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. I don't know. I'm sick of talking about weddings, and I try to avoid them as much as I can, whether it's me getting married or
That's never going to happen.
I thought you were married.
This doesn't need to be a anti-wedding or anti-marriage podcast. That's what it would turn into if you
Isn't-
kept asking me about
Isn't your
this.
wife named Bailey?
And she's not even a human.
It's
his dog.
So it's my dog.
That's good enough.
I guess the other game I guess we could talk about is another Big Ten West slug rock fight that we saw in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa 15, Wisconsin 6. Just it kind of depends on where you fall. on that spectrum. I am a person that loves watching those kinds of games.
That's
I
Big Ten
love when
football.
Good
games are.
football. Yeah.
I love ugly games. That's part of the reason why I fell in love with the Baltimore Ravens, especially that 2000s defense. I didn't care that their offense sucked. I didn't care about Trent Dilfer. I like to watch that defense go to work.
He throw dimes though.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's be real. It was about that defense. And 15-6. Now, you guys, Wisconsin scores 6 points. How many times did they throw the ball? Does anyone know?
No, I don't know.
Not off the top
Take
of my
a guess. How many times Wisconsin threw the ball?
50 times.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
18.
I'm going to give it 22.
50.
50? Okay, I was
50?
right. Okay.
50.
That's better than I thought.
What was do you have stats up in front of you? What was their completion percentage?
I don't know, but
How
that's
do
not the point. I don't care what the 50.
How do you throw the
Dude,
ball 50 times and only put up
They're
6 points?
air raid now. We said that before the season started. Wisconsin is air raid.
And I'm the guy who was like, okay, guys, just relax.
Yeah.
You know, Luke Fickell isn't going to throw the ball 50 times a game
Yeah.
because he has more
Wrong.
sense than that. He knows where he's at, okay? It's not going to be just Longo calling freaking, fade routes all game. 50 attempts.
Do you want to know the most concerning part of this game for me, and actually probably most Nebraska fans? The final score 15-6, 15-6 is
Awesome.
Brian Ferentz is in danger, and we want him
I
to
was
keep
gonna
his
get on
damn
that.
job.
I was on that. So
He cannot be close to the mark he needs to be at.
this kind of brings me to the Matt Rule press conference, and we don't have to dive into that yet. But they asked Matt Rule today about, do you look at, like points per game and all that stuff? And the guy asked the question. I don't remember who exactly asked the question. You were at the press conference. You remember?
I don't know who asked
Okay.
it,
But it's like they asked this question, and you knew what they were thinking in the back of their mind. If Iowa makes and wins the West again, right? And they have this like clause in this contract for Mr. Ferentz, do they really need to move on from him? Because there's no way they're going to hit 25. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
In the rock fight, Big West or Big Ten West, like it's just not going to happen.
Especially with Deacon Hill leading the quarterback room.
I guess what I think is a simple answer is if they do win the West and they still let go of Brian Ferentz, they're wrong. Like, I know that it's one of those things that the offense is not good. But if you win the West, like, you don't fix what ain't broke.
Yeah, we'd kill for that.
Yeah.
Yes, I would donate my left pinky toe
Yeah.
to win
And sure.
the Big Ten,
Yeah.
not the West.
Dude, shut up. I'll take the West right now.
You would donate
Oh,
your
yeah.
pinky toe for the West?
Shoot.
Hell,
I had to think about
I
it.
might give more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I just want some modicum of success
Give his
here.
back door.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count.
That does not count.
That doesn't count. I prefer backdoor.
That
doesn't
does.
count.
That does.
I will bend over to win the West.
This is bullshit.
I will touch
That's
my
a-
ankles.
That's another bingo tile gone for you, those of you at home.
No, like so I am with you that if they were to win the West, I don't care how bad the West is. If they win the West, you got to keep Brian, right?
Yeah.
So
It's your coach's son.
you're going to have your people that are like, okay, the defense and the special teams are elite. We'll call them elite. Okay.
Yeah.
So then Iowa fans would argue, well, if they just make this change on offense, then it's only going to get better, right? So, but here's the thing, Iowa, you're still probably going to win 9 games, even if you were to get a new offensive coordinator. So I say, why are you trying to fix this? And yeah, we can kind of go back to like the history of Nebraska where they try to change things.
Yeah.
It didn't really seem like
feels
they-
like Bo.
you
a
know,
little bit.
it's like you're getting a little greedy here because even with the shitty offense, you're still winning 9-ish games.
Mhm.
You make the change. I don't think it can get much better than 9.
What does
Like-
Iowa feel like their ceiling is?
Yeah.
Because they've been winning 9-8 games every year for how long?
Yeah.
Long time.
They would say it's because they play West teams. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're still going to play a lot of West teams most years. So just keep it rolling.
I would say it's the East teams they're not playing because weird this year they're not playing Ohio State or Michigan. Isn't that weird?
Every year.
Getting crushed in Happy Valley.
Yeah.
That
Isn't
was
it
nice.
weird how they get those nice scheduling benefits? Meanwhile, we've played Ohio State almost every year since we joined the Big Ten. They
And
played
that's-
them like 4 times since we joined the Big Ten.
That's part of the, when we joined the Big Ten, Nebraska was still a talked about program, relevant. So it's like,
Okay.
yeah, bring them on. Bring on Ohio State. Bring on Michigan. That was the mantra when we first arrived. Like we're gonna be fine. We like these marquee games. We want to go to Ann Arbor and Columbus and yikes. That work out.
We went there.
Yeah.
We were there.
We went there.
We were there.
We were.
We were there.
Yes.
Physically.
So yeah, this 15-6 game, like what you saw at Illinois when Nebraska played in Champaign. That's just gonna be the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Is these games, these beautiful struggles.
Yeah.
Rule did call that game beautiful.
Did he?
He did call Wisconsin, Iowa beautiful.
See?
Yeah.
I love those games.
That's Big Ten football.
And look, both of those teams, I think when we're playing them this year, they're both going to be without their starting quarterbacks. So
we've had a problem though in the past against backup quarterbacks. So that worries me a little bit.
Mike, we've had problems with starting quarterbacks. Let's not dive into
We've
the
had
minutia
problems
here.
with quarterbacks.
Yeah. and receivers
football.
and defenses and special
Yes.
teams and all of it.
With other teams, we have
Yeah.
problems. I don't know. So you bring up that point about backup quarterbacks. When I think of Wisconsin and the fact that they threw 50 times, which is still fucking mind-blowing to me. Now that their backup is in, now they're not going to want to throw 50 times. So
Right.
now I'm worried
They'll get
again.
better. They'll get better.
Yeah, I'm worried again. And maybe this is a hot take. I watched Braylon Allen, and
I'm in the same boat. I already know exactly where you're going.
I don't know if it's because the Wisconsin O-line is just not as good as it used to be or whatever. But I don't think he runs like he looks.
Right. He does not.
And I think of last year, and I know when they played Nebraska last year, that Braylon Allen was not 100%. I realize that, but
Yeah.
it just seems like he runs kind of weak.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I mean, a bitch.
Yeah.
What?
Bambi.
Wow.
And I know, I have no room to say that. I know that, but I just watched him. I'm like, shouldn't you be kind of running over dudes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was watching the game and I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, this guy.
Yeah.
He looks like he looks like a guy that could be running for 150 yards a game. Especially, I guess
But
now
he
that they're
did.
air raid.
Wait till he plays Nebraska.
He
Right.
used to though.
I know.
But
know.
I feel like a guy like him is like a rhythm. Like running back, some guys are like a rhythm backs. And with them throwing the ball 50 plus times, can you really get into rhythm?
no.
No.
So here's
And-
another thing. Like Jared, you bring up, you go to a backup quarterback, you're worried that they might not throw that ball 50 times. They transition to the ground a little bit. I don't think I'm going to shock anybody at this table. Nebraska is no longer a number one rush defense.
Yeah.
They are not. However, it
Right.
is still a pretty stout rush defense and nothing to be scoffed at. So, you take away, we're far weaker in the secondary than we are in that front. So, if they're going to be forced to run the ball, I think that maybe lends a little bit of credit to Nebraska and makes the game a little bit more safe. Playing to
Nebraska
our own strengths there.
right now is top 5 in the country in run the ball, stop the run. So
Which is what Matt Rule wants the
Yeah.
philosophy to be.
And I
The
don't hate it.
culture?
So now Wisconsin, again, not throwing.
Identity.
Oh, wait. That's
Or identity?
We didn't have culture on the board. That got switched out. I think.
It's like-
oh, no, it didn't make it on. Culture
okay.
was one of the tokens that we got from Nick. Still shout out.
And this is me. I was talking on my ass a little bit. I was just watching the Iowa game, and Braylon Allen doesn't look whatever. I look at his stats, and of course, he's averaging over 6 yards a carry.
Thank you.
So, I'm not going to lie and say I've watched
Dude,
every Wisconsin game, but
He's a monster.
What did
I'm
he-
just saying.
What did
He's
he
a
average?
monster.
What was his average run against Iowa? That's a defense.
yeah, now you're going to make me look. Oh,
I know.
sorry.
He's averaging
Oh,
6
you guys
yards a carry.
Keep talking. No,
It's-
on the season, yeah.
But I don't know. If you're
4.8, yeah. 4.8.
4.8,
I mean, I would
that's,
take
that's
that.
still,
Yeah,
that's
I was
still
still
really
pretty good.
goddamn
Yeah.
good.
I know.
I think it just got overshadowed because of the amount of times they threw the ball.
yeah, that could be.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
But
You're not wrong.
this is not a Iowa. Remember that time we beat Iowa? Or a Wisconsin podcast.
Right.
I think we wanted to get into so we are officially at the halfway point of the football season. And this is going to have to be a 2-part thing, just given when we need to take a break and whatnot. But we talked about doing mid-season grades for the Nebraska football team.
Yeah.
I think before break, let's start with the offensive side of the ball, and we'll go around the table. We're going to start with our special guest. And which position group do you want to start with?
Well, I think logically you start at quarterback.
Okay. Quarterback.
So Nebraska's at 3-3. When I look back at my predictions from beginning of the year, I did say that they would be at 3-3. They would have gotten there differently. But I remember 3-3 being my guess. Do you remember what your guess was at this point?
No, but I do know that my final grade was still 5-7, and we're still on pace for that, guys. So
I can tell you, I know what mine and Kyle's were, because we were almost
4-2, wasn't it?
4-2.
We were fine. We're 4-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what your midseason grade record prediction was, or did you have one
For this season, after last week, it's changed. Seeing us win a road Big Ten game, it
opens your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot of hope.
It's not how gross or disgusting that win was. It's the fact we won a game.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
So I'm kind of in that boat of 5-7. I'm kind of feeling that a little bit. Maybe 6-6 is there.
Hey,
you got to beat Iowa. I think it's going to come down to Iowa. Watch that happen.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's what I
the West
feel
might be on the line.
That's what I feel it's going to happen. It's going to come down to Iowa, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so David, we're going to go start at quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What would your midseason grade be?
So we're doing letter grades.
Letter grades.
Yeah. Okay. So for Heinrich, it's
both though.
It's the whole room.
It's the whole room. So you could, obviously, Heinrich.
Give me your individuals, and then give me your overall. Okay.
Yeah.
So Heinrich, I think you kind of got to look at it like what's around him. He has nothing. Yeah. Besides we got our running backs. Grant's.
He's got Tyron.
Can be a stud.
I think it's running back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah.
Heinrich, I think for what he has around him, probably like a B-.
Okay.
He's good at what he's good at.
Yeah.
I think it's simple like that, right? He runs. He's pretty good at running. Throwing. Well, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing will be what you give Mr. Sims.
Sorry, Jeff. Let's give Jeff a C-. He's only played. Hey,
that's nice.
That's generous.
He's only played in 2 games.
Yeah.
All right.
On the road.
So on the road
against Power 5 teams.
Yeah. We never seen him at home.
One play.
One play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to count that.
When he was gimpy.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him a C- just because we haven't, in all honesty, we haven't seen him. What he can't. I'm going to sound like an idiot. What he can do.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you said, sorry, Jeff. Now, how do you spell Jeff? J-E.
Yeah. Oh no.
Well, okay. Hold on. Let me just hold on a second. I'll say D-. D- for Jeff, just because, like you said, the sample size is small. However, 0-2 in those games that he has started. So it's how is that not enough? But I'll say D- to not be mean. But for Harburg, I want to say a C+, just because, like you said, it's kind of graded on a curve. Not a whole lot around him. But I think overall the room would be a C-. But damn, that Jeff Sims grade brings that down a lot. So C- for the quarterbacks.
Okay. I would give Jeff a B+.
Better.
Okay. I'm not going to totally shit on him either. I think given the circumstances of being on the road, Power 5 games, I'm going to try to take that into account. We'll say D+.
Can I just pitch in here?
Go ahead, please.
We just got done talking about opponent quarterbacks and giving us a fit. Doesn't matter if they're a backup, doesn't matter if they're a starter.
Yeah.
Why is it that Nebraska can't have a quarterback that just plays decently on the road?
Wouldn't that be nice
to start the year? You can keep going, but I just want to point that out. We just got done talking about backups coming into Memorial and just absolutely obliterating us.
Let me tell you this though. there is not another team in the entire country that opened their season on the road against 2 Power 5 teams. There's not one other team in the entire country. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. D+ is not a good grade, guys.
No, I know.
But my teachers told me it's not good.
Yeah,
So,
is that not good?
and then I want to give Heinrich Harburg a C. I think the passing, there's a lot more to be desired there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because the guys around him. I think that's going to make things even worse because he did have Marcus and he did have some of those guys. So I'll give him a C. I think his running ability is very good, but he's got to complete more than half of his passes. Like that's where I want, like if I want to see second half of the season, if Harburg's the guy, I want to see him simplify things, high percentage throws, and just make the easy ones look easy. And not saying, like I said, he doesn't have world beaters at receiver either, but
How many receivers is he missing? Is it 3 or
he's
4?
missing, I think it's three.
Three. Yeah.
So
Give him a break.
But Jeff was missing 2 of those.
Sure. But still, I mean, Harburg down another.
Okay, yeah, he's down another, but he did have those for all of his games up until this point. So I'm gonna give him a C. I think that's fine. I mean, I don't think he played spectacular against Michigan, and he did have the benefit of the doubt playing the 2 group of 5 teams at home, being the hometown kid. So overall, I would say the quarterback room is probably like a C-, given the balance there. So
yeah,
KB, what you got?
All right, Jeff, D-. I want to say F. I just morally I can't do it. Heinrich Harburg, I considered like a C+, and then I think you said a B-, and I like B-. I like B- a lot just because he does have 3 wins under his belt. He has protected the ball better than most. And he's done enough to win. So I know the throwing has not been great. You just said there's no world beaters at wide receiver.
There is not, no.
Like, and we'll get to the offensive line, but
Oh yeah.
the guy, everyone has to remember Heinrich Harburg last year. Mark Whipple was asked about Heinrich Harburg, and he laughed at them. So if that tells you anything about the development that was going into Heinrich Harburg last year, he has a whole year where he's literally like a laughing stock to the coaching
He's a tight end.
staff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he comes in, and now he's starting for the first time ever. So I'm going to give him a B-. I think what he has done based off of what he's been given, I really can't complain. Connor, what do you got?
Kyle, I don't hate the argument you just made. However, in my mind right now, Heinrich Harburg is a starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to go too situational with it. So Heinrich Harburg on the surface, I'm giving a C+, but it's a high C+, like one that you like go into office hours with the professor and you ask him to round it up.
Yeah.
And like he could get to that B-. Like I think it's that close. I think he's played really well. He is winning games. On the opposite end, I have Jeff Sims. And I through this entire conversation, I was thinking about how I would rate him, and I think I put him at a D. And like, there's gonna be a clip on this, I'm sure, but like a very average D. Like he's smack dab in the middle of that. Like he could go to a D+, maybe a D-, but he's a D. I think I give the quarterback room again, like it's a high end C. Like there's room to get to a C+, but we're not quite there at the moment. And Harburg, obviously, like with what he's done so far, with what he's got, I think is carrying this room pretty heavily.
Yeah, this is Mr. Cadillac saying, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Sims, Jeff is a great kid.
He's a nice
he's
kid.
a great kid.
He's
well.
so
But he needs
talented.
to stop giving the girl in front of him wet willies.
He is so talented, and he's
He's a
genuinely
nice guy.
Jeff Sims actually is. He's a good athlete,
And he's a good teammate.
And he's a good teammate.
a great
100%.
teammate.
Yes.
Honestly, he's a great teammate, and I know he's got the potential to get there, but he's just got to do the homework.
Yes, he's
turn him in on time.
he's the parent.
and we can move that grade up a little bit.
This
You
is
say to the parent,
too
he's
much
such
for
a
you,
hard
right?
worker. He's such a hard worker, and it hurts to watch him try.
Yeah.
He just fumbles the ball too much. Oh wait, we're talking about
Yeah.
Okay.
With Heinrich, can I ask, do you guys know the last time we had a starting quarterback come out and start 3-1?
Well,
Like it's
was it? Ooh, wait.
I'm gonna go. Was it
No,
the
7-0?
It was Tommy.
The 7-0.
It was Tommy. Had to be.
you're right. Yeah, it would be Tommy.
It'd be
It would be
Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah.
That was
Taylor had-
16.
Well,
Yeah,
With
16.
Riley.
Yeah, with Riley. Oh,
with
yeah.
Riley was
Yep.
16 with Tommy.
Yep.
Which he didn't finish the season anyways. Riker had to play. So
Yep.
Something to think about.
something to think about.
Winning
Yeah.
games. Winning games is awesome.
Jared, what's your grades?
Well, I said C- for.
Oh,
the-
right.
for the-
Okay, I'm sorry. Yep.
Okay.
So running backs. We'll start with David again. Running backs.
Back.
You know,
And we don't need to
Well-
go individual, I think, for this. Just
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it as a group.
Yep.
you factor in Grant, Irvin, Fleeks, Ramir, Emmett Johnson, and I guess Harburg. Like, what grade would you give them? Just kind of, just not thinking too much.
C minus. C minus. There's a guy in there that's can be pretty good, but there's not much else in there.
I'm at D plus.
D plus.
Like Harburg's your leading rusher on the team. Grant fumbling. Emmett Johnson had 2 good runs and then fumbled. Ramir's out. Irvin's out. Best abilities
God,
availability.
you stole it from me.
God. So D plus for me.
I'm going to be nicer than you. You stole my spiel. I was going to say,
Indeed.
when I look at anything in any sport, actually really not even sport, just in general, your best ability is always availability. Given that, I would say that this group is probably like a C minus. I think there just too many injuries and like hold on to the ball as a unit. I'm not even going to point at one guy. Like
Yeah,
hold
it's
on to the
everybody
ball.
at this point.
Yes, hold on to the ball.
Yeah, I would agree. Like a C minus, I think is fair. I think it's like really like I really don't have any hard feelings about the running back room, and that's a problem.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
That's just kind of there.
that's a problem. Either you really love your running backs, or you're like, meh.
One of the times that they stand out is when a dude's fumbling.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no like, whoa, running backs, cool, whoa.
Right. Like you really don't have any of those like giant runs all the time. Like you really don't have any of that. It's really just like the only time you ever notice them is when they're fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
Connor, what do you
What
got?
do you think?
I'll make this quick, I promise. I think start of the season, I think this room probably could have been a B plus.
Mhm.
Obviously, we had a lot of injuries, so that didn't help. I think as of this current moment, I'm going to stick with the C minus train. But I do believe there is potential if Anthony Grant can hold on to the ball and secure, we can get some good blocking. That by the end of the season, we could reliably sit here and say B minus. There's potential.
Oh, yeah.
But right
Be
now we're
happy
at a
with
C
that.
minus.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. And the problem that is the thing that's going to stop them from getting that grade is the fact that like we watched last year, Anthony Grant just get absolutely worn down. Like 2 games in a row, the guy had like 30 plus carries, and then the rest of the year just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
You can put that up to like, going into November, you're starting to play Iowa, Wisconsin, you're playing these, Illinois, you're playing these teams, right? So obviously that's going to hinder your performance, but what is behind Anthony Grant?
It's not much.
It's going to be like there's a reason you didn't see Anthony Grant a whole lot against Illinois is because they know the coaching staff knows like you're going to have to save this dude for later on in the year.
I would say, though, you said there's nobody behind Anthony Grant. I think Illinois was a perfect example of showing what is behind him. And Emmett Johnson, minus the exchange fumble thing, he looked good. Like, you could argue he looked more explosive than Anthony Grant.
Yeah, but somebody that can take 20 plus snaps.
Yeah, I don't know if he
with
can.
with
Yeah.
Anthony Grant.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Yeah, to both of your points, Mike, you're right. There are guys behind Grant, and Kyle, to your point, I think the staff is going to be safe with Anthony Grant
They
at
have
this
to.
point. Yeah,
Yes.
you have to.
Yes.
So it's not that there's nobody there, but it's like, do we want to, poke that bear and see if we have to get there? And
Yeah.
I think they are going to try and avoid that as much as they can.
Right.
Okay. Wide receivers. And
Yeah. And
Brandon M, we will get to you.
yeah, Brandon, he threw a good comment in the chat. He said, "Good evening, boys. If you didn't cover, what are your thoughts on rules approaching PFF ratings and how Sipple then hammered back?" We'll get into that. I think that would actually be a good one once we get to offensive linemen. We can kind of just touch on that for those of us who kind of listen to the presser and whatnot. And
Yep.
kind of his approach. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But wide receivers.
Wide receivers.
David, what you got?
Wide receivers.
Wide receiver. Again,
I know.
there's nobody there.
Yeah.
There's
Who's
nobody there.
Who's Billy Kemp.
Billy Kemp? Malachi's a starter now?
But we
He
haven't
is. Yep.
seen him yet.
This is true.
Really?
My lowest D plus. D plus because I don't even know what to say about it.
Yeah.
Like how many guys are out? 3? We said 3.
Three
Yeah,
starters.
3 starters.
Are
So
gone.
This is one where you realize they have 3 starters out. You know, the thing with wide receivers is like, I can't recall like a wide receiver dropping a ball necessarily or them just screwing a play up royally.
Mhm.
And like, I feel like they've done a good job with blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
So-
their blocking ability, that no block, no rock mentality.
Yeah, that makes my grade go up a little bit. And just seeing the guys in that room, I'm grading on a little bit of a curve. I would say a C.
Yeah.
Just meh.
Yeah.
Like no obvious drops, good blocking. Like what do you expect Alec Bullock to do? You know, there's been a few like clutch 4th and 5 conversions that they've made where it's like, damn, okay, here we go. Kept a drive alive.
Mm-hmm.
C.
I'm going to say C-. And it's kind of the same points you were just making. Like they're just those guys that we thought would be there coming into the season are not there.
Mm-hmm.
But you also recruit top 150 players, and we need to see those guys. And they're going to get their opportunity. So
Potential.
yes. So potential's high. We'll say C-. And I think there's potential to go up to like a B by the end of the year if
Sure.
the quarterback and the offensive line do their jobs.
And Mike, I know Michael just brings up a good point. Like I said, that there's no obvious drops to really think of, but he did bring up the point that wide receivers, are they just like not really getting open? Because
Matt Rule called that out though. They asked him about that like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, "No, they're getting open."
Okay,
so
I'm gonna trust him.
They have to get the ball, and that's why I kind of went back on the quarterbacks a little bit. It's like if your head coach is putting it out there publicly and saying, like the guys are getting open. We're looking at the film; they're getting open.
Sure.
That's where I'm like, okay, that's that Sims Harburg debate, like going through progressions, even though Sims only threw to the right side of the field. You know that part kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, C- is what I got.
He threw to the left corner of the end zone in the Minnesota game.
No, threw it to a guy in the Minnesota game.
He did throw to the left side.
Oh God, Kyle.
Let's not forget that.
Wide receivers.
Yeah, this is kind of the same point for the running backs. Like it's either you've got your wide receivers that are like, wow, these guys are great, or it's like,
yeah,
what do you say? What do you say? I mean, considering that a bunch of these guys, I don't know if they expected to be starting every week. You know, I'm sure there's some guys you sprinkle in there for consistency reasons and things like that, but I don't know. Like, I think a C is fair considering what they are and who they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
You really, like you said, Mike, you don't have the obvious drops. You don't have the game blown, stuff that's going on. But what you do have is guys that maybe they do pick up the 4th and 5, but you don't expect that to happen consistently over and over and over and over again. It happens and everybody's like, whoa, holy shit, we made a 4th and 5.
Yeah.
Will it ever happen again in the game?
We don't. I doubt it.
Doubt it. Like, so yeah, I think C is fair considering what they are.
So I, as we went around this table, thought a lot about, what grade I was going to give them. And frankly, sticking with my analogy of, the whole college thing, because they're in college, I considered refusing to grade them because it just felt like with all the injuries, they kind of just dropped the class before the semester ended. But it sucks, but that's where we are. But I felt like that was kind of a cop out. So with, who we've got out there and what we've got depth wise, I think C is the most fair grade I can give them.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right there in the middle.
Yeah, we're kind of all in the same boat when it comes to this. So.
That might be a common grade for the offense. I think just how bad the offense is, I think we might be generous with these grades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tight end, David, what are you thinking for tight ends?
Ooh. So tight ends, they could be good. Like
yeah.
Thomas Fidone is a stud. Like I think he's an absolute stud. He doesn't get enough targets though.
Yep.
Like this guy needs to be throwing the ball like 15 times a game. I think at like a minimum, and he's not even getting that.
Yeah.
So still, I'm going to keep with like the same consistency.
Uh-huh.
It's like a C- because they're just not getting to where they should be. They have potential, but they're just not there.
Yeah. This group, you kind of brought up with the running backs. This had the potential to be like a B+ because of Fidone. 12 catches, 157 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he had that run there against Northern Illinois and La Tech. Hasn't been targeted that much. Kind of disappointing. Like, he needs to be the safety blanket going forward. But up until now, I would say, and Borkature, well,
Mel Carton.
yeah,
Kind of.
so figuring that too, C minus.
Okay.
Yeah. Fedoni needs to be targeted more. So whether that's a Harburg thing or a Fedoni thing, he needs to touch the ball more. But C minus.
I'm not going to be as harsh as you guys are on them. I think.
And blocking too. He's done.
Yeah. No. That's the part I'm going to approach here. Okay. So we are one of the top rushing teams in the country, and these guys are going and they're blocking a lot. They're blocking their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
Borkature is blocking his ass off. Fedoni's blocking his ass off.
True.
Given the sample size too of the amount of targets that Fedoni's getting and the production he's giving us, I'm going to give them like a B or a B plus.
Yeah,
I really am. I think given the sample size, they're way above my expectations. I didn't think Fedoni was going to be a factor at all this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he is. He is the guy that needs those targets, but he's blocking well. He's not a 10-man. Borkature, they are both just fantastic blockers. They're not selfish players either. So I'll stick with the B plus.
I'll raise my grade to C plus.
No, it's too late. You're dead.
Too
Damn
late.
it.
Yeah.
B plus.
I love that. And for an offense that doesn't have any productivity, really, like let's be honest here. Like, we're not producing on offense. And
What?
for one of the people in that group to have 3 touchdowns on an offense, how many touchdowns do they have this year?
Well, Fedoni's got 3.
He's got 3.
How many do we have as a whole?
How many total? How many do we have?
As an offense, how many do we have as a whole?
Offense?
7? Like,
Right.
seriously, like, there's not a lot.
So for somebody that honestly, I can look at a game and be like, okay, well, you can expect Thomas Fedoni or one of the tight ends to have a big play, something that's going to save us or get us down the field, or they're going to block really well, like you said, Mike.
Yes.
Like, I'm happy giving them like a B. Like, I think they're one of the more consistent groups of the team,
Yes.
or the offense at least.
Yes.
I love this because you guys are making me feel not crazy. I do want to jump back to just before the season started, talking about how I believe Thomas Fedoni was going to have to become a real blocker. And I got called crazy by not necessarily all of you, but we had another show on as guests at that point that told me that would not happen. We were right, boys. But again, we talk about, the tight ends aren't getting enough targets. That is not a lack of ability on the tight ends. That does not affect
play
this grade at
calling
all.
and quarterback play.
Yeah, that does not affect this grade at all. I think from what we've seen from this tight end group, I think a B is incredibly fair. Again, a B plus, not out of the realm of possibility, but I think
That's
a
where
B
I
is a
was
little
at.
bit more fair.
Yeah. I think in the red zone, your tight end has to be your number one option.
Yeah.
At this point, yes.
He's your only option
Absolutely.
at this point.
Right.
To be honest, like, who else do you have to throw the ball that you can go get a jump ball?
Yeah. You've got Billy Kemp and you've got Thomas Fedoni.
Both
Billy
guys
Kemp.
don't get enough targets.
Yeah.
He is.
Billy Kemp, what, 5'2"?
I
I'm
call him an
joking.
angry elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
hey,
what we're moving forward with.
what's-
He is the angry elf of the podcast.
I want to be very clear. I am not actually trash talking Billy Kemp.
No, he's a dog.
He's a
Yeah.
grinder. He's a dog.
But
yeah, he doesn't have the height, especially when you get into that red zone. He doesn't have the size
But
to
he
be
scored.
an impact player.
they can get creative and find ways. He has
Yeah.
scored some red zone touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, and Billy Kemp is faster than shit. And I know this is going to be one of those things that I might give Mike flashbacks here. But, we're on the 3-4 yard line. Give me a jet sweep with Billy Kemp.
Ugh.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
I've been you know what I've been calling for though with
Yeah,
the
give me a jet
quarterback
sweep with
play.
Billy Kemp.
The quarterback play that we've had, swing passes. I'm in on them.
Yeah.
Really, I am.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, we need high percentage plays and high percentage throws. And that goes back to that rhythm thing. It's like, if I can make this elementary throw, it gives me confidence to throw the ball 5 yards, 10 yards.
And if your wide receivers are blocking well like they are,
yes, might as well.
I'll tell you what. I don't give a shit how we score.
Yeah.
Put the ball on the goddamn end.
Figure it out.
I don't give a shit how we score. Do I need to put that board back on and just pull it back off?
So what was your grade for tight ends?
I gave the tight ends a B.
B. Okay.
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Offensive line, then we're going to take a quick break.
Yep.
So David, what do you think? Offensive line.
He's like,
I hate. Oh my gosh, it's again. I keep saying the same. It's C-. Like,
Yeah.
D+. I'm changing it. D+.
Okay.
They have not done what they should for the past 5-6 years. Like, that's been our problem. We want to blame quarterbacks and blame all these guys, but it comes down to the O-line.
Mhm.
Like, if you can't stand in the pocket for 3 seconds,
Right.
you can't do anything, and the blame falls on the quarterback. So
Yep.
I'm at D+.
This is one of those positions that Rule was especially kind of triggered about today. What
Yes.
with PFF grades?
Yes.
Yep.
It was revealed today that Ethan Piper had played with a broken hand.
It's kind of a dog. That's a
And listen, like when you watch Piper play, he's one of those dudes that's like kind of downfield, like putting guys on their ass.
he goes
Yeah.
he goes second and third level, which is
Yeah.
kind of it is nice to see.
So that is very nice. And I think, I think a common refrain for the past couple of weeks is, I mean, this line looks like they're better than they have been in the past. They usually don't stand out for
Yeah.
crappy things as much.
Yeah, listen, last year we were like, if this
F.
offensive line is standing out like they were in 2022, they were bad last year.
And here's the
At the
thing,
beginning of the year, especially.
and we say this, but with their last game at Illinois, they really stood out for the wrong reasons. Like if Nebraska lost that game, I think a lot of people would say, freaking O-line, that's why.
Yeah.
5 penalties, dumb penalties. But saying all that,
Dumbassery.
yeah, just saying all that, I would say a D+. D+.
That feels
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at I'm gonna be nice, okay? A guy that was a punching bag for this podcast was number 54. And that guy has played really well.
Bryce Benhart. We'll say his name.
Yes.
Bryce Bell.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bryce
When you're
Benhart.
saying nice things, you can say their name.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, Bryce Benhart has been a talking point for this podcast the last few years or a couple of years, whatever we've been doing. And so I would say he's been playing pretty well. I just don't think that all the guys play together at the right time, like play good at the right time. There's times when 54 is playing good, but then there's times when 69 is playing good, but nobody's going to notice that. And then you got Ethan that'll mix in there a little bit, Nori and Ben Scott. I don't know. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say C because I think there's definitely more to be desired. But if you're a top 5 rushing team in the country, they are doing their job at a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm not usually the guy that's like a silver lining guy, but like they are doing their job to a point. They are helping that quarterback run. They're helping create holes with the option football. That's completely new too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say a C, probably leans more towards C-, but I'm going to say a C.
Yeah, I'll go with C-. I think that's a pretty good call. I mean, again, it's not like I'm watching a game and I'm like, God, the offensive line. Like you just don't really notice them a whole lot, except for when, something really bad happens. But I don't know. I don't think it's as consistent as it was at the beginning of the year last year. So yeah, I don't know. I think C- is fair.
So I want to start this with PFF grades are bullshit. I don't care about them. It's bullshit. But I pulled this bingo piece over to remind me that I think we need another one made.
What's it say?
With a word that says undisciplined.
Yes.
Undisciplined.
Yes.
I mean, that's been an issue with the line for the last couple of years.
You wreck discipline.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think while this line does leave a bit to be desired, they're below average, but not severely. I think a C- is where I drop them.
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was like, but I'm going to be nice. I think a C, given the circumstances, given the progression I've seen from some of these guys too. But we do have a good comment in the chat that I wanted to call out and let you guys take a little gamble at it. Do you lay more offensive line frustration on the kids playing, or are you Raiola frustration guys? I think in 2 seasons you haven't seen Raiola recruits yet.
I am player frustration.
Yeah,
A lot of these guys
I'm
are
not blaming
They've been here a while.
Donovan at all.
Yeah.
I think Donovan Raiola is a good coach. I think he is. Obviously struggles with the Bears, but again, we've talked about how many times have we talked about how difficult it is to transition between college and NFL.
I mean, and even with the Bears, he was the
Bears.
assistant to the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
how much? I feel like he's just doing the grunt work, Like, this is his first real.
Yeah.
Print this off. Go print this off.
if we get 2 more years where we're sitting here saying like C- for the offensive line,
That's
then yeah, I think it's probably
Yeah,
time to have that
yeah.
discussion.
totally.
But at this moment, no, I'm not ready to have
I've
that.
seen players progress.
Yeah, that's it. Develop.
That's coaching. I don't know if it's going to be Don. I don't know if it's Donnie or I don't know if it's Rule or Satterfield or what. But I've seen progression.
So our friend Nick let us know when I said we need another bingo piece that says undisciplined. He already said done on the way.
That's awesome.
Okay, I think we're at a really good point. We're going to switch to defense, but we need to go take a quick break, get some more beer. We'll be back.
how would you say your mental focus is?
Oh, it's focused. I haven't, look.
Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo. We have the saying, no block, no rock.
Thanks, Joe and Troy. So, guys, we just got done giving our offensive grades. And, I think there was a lot of C's and D's and a couple B's sprinkled in there, generous B's. But we will go to the defense now, where I think we'll be pretty positive with this side of the ball for the most part. David, let's start with the defensive line. How would you feel these guys have done with a alphabetical grade? What do you think?
Yeah, D-line. Again, they're doing what they should be doing. So I'm going to stick with B minus.
Okay. I would say going into the season, this was one of the biggest concerns for me. How are they going to stop the run? They have done that. Nash Hutmacher, I think you're looking at a future NFL guy.
Yep.
Lenhart's flashed. Ty Robinson's done fine. And I know I'm leaving out just a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
Principal's flashed. Van Poppel's flashed. Crap. And I hate to just keep naming names, but I'm going to forget somebody. But for me, I would say B+.
Okay. Wow.
I'm going to say B+.
From Jared, he gave
Boom.
a B+.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Stop the run. You've had young guys flash. It's not just the old guys playing.
There's a lot of potential.
Good. It's good. It's a good group, and it could only get better.
I mean, I'm not a sugar pumper like Jared. I'm going to say B with all those things said. I think the biggest concern we said at our live show to preview the season, we said 3-3-5. One thing you have to worry about is stopping the run. And those 3 to 4 guys, I think they've done a great job. But there is 6 more games. So as of now, we're going to say B, but there's potential to go to A. There's potential to go to D. So keep staying the course. B is good.
Okay. Right now, as it sits, after the first 2 games, they led the nation in sacks against 2 Power 5 opponents that we talk about in regards to the quarterbacks. And like you said, the number one concern for us was the defensive line, the depth, all this other stuff leading into this 3-3-5 debut. I'm giving them an A. Lead the nation in sacks over the first 2 games against 2 Power 5 opponents on the road. You have done exactly, you have solidified. I honestly think one of the only reasons why the run defense has been so good is because of that defensive line. And not only that, you're rocking a bunch of freshman players. Young guys that are going in there and they're just handling business. I'm giving them an A. That's going to be the only A that I give tonight.
Will that change your grade if I mention that sacks aren't just D-line?
Yeah.
Does that change?
No, it does not. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the defensive line is what's taking up all the offensive linemen, right? Those are the guys that are going out and they're making sure that everybody's tied up. So all your sacks start with the defensive line. And the only reason that those linebackers can get around the offensive line is because the offensive line is focused on the defensive line and they're doing their job.
Fair.
So
I'm actually a little upset right now because I thought I was going to get to be the first guy to say something that starts with an A. I am giving them an A-.
Okay.
But I believe there's enough extra credit on the table for this D-line. By the end of the season, depending how these next 6 games go, could be an A+. A- for me.
Ooh,
Hey, Brandon did say Colorado's line is also atrocious on sacks given up, so that pads our stats a little bit.
Here's
But does
my
that take away from the performance that the Nebraska D-line put up? I mean, sure, they're bad, but like Nebraska's D-line still made it happen.
how many times
Power
have we
5
said
opponent.
Power 5 opponent, you got to play who's in front of you. But how many times have we said in the past, this team sucks at this aspect of the game, but versus Nebraska is when they flip the script.
Oh, every time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Every
so
time.
they did what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
And I don't think you
Again,
okay, so just imagine if Nebraska didn't get those sacks against the O-line of Colorado. God dang, these guys suck. But no, they did it.
Yeah.
They did what they were supposed to do.
Again, I think some of our viewers, listeners, whatever you want to call them, might be thinking when we say like Kyle gives them an A, I give them an A minus, that we're comparing them as like an A minus across the nation.
No.
These are, we're only looking at Nebraska and what we expected out of this team. And so us saying an A and an A minus is not saying that we are an upper tier D-line or one of the best in the nation. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
We're saying that they are fulfilling and maybe even exceeding expectations.
It's Nebraska
And I
A.
think that's the point.
It's in a, it's these grades are in a vacuum.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yes, Mike.
Very
Was that a
small vacuum.
Was that a vacuum? What was that?
Like a circle.
Like a circle.
Like a circle.
Okay, so high grades for the D line. So linebackers. What are you thinking for linebackers?
We got some dudes back there. I think so.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
I mean, come on. We say that the D line is a big factor of stopping the run. I think the linebackers got a pretty major role in that.
Big part of that.
I like those guys. I'm going to stick with, let's give them a B plus. B plus. I think the whole defense as a whole is pretty, C's. Are we going to have C's?
Yeah.
Are we considering the jack position a linebacker or DB?
I would say linebacker.
I'd call it a linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would give this a slightly lower grade than the D line. I'm going to say B. I will say I appreciate Henrich. He's played very well. I think he deserves some light shown on him, recognition. Look, John Bullock, like, I'm not going to lie. He got the single digit at the beginning of the year. I'm like, but he's played very well. MJ Sherman, we'll see. He played the most amount of snaps against Illinois than any other game. So that's probably telling for the rest of the year. I think he'll play better. So I'm gonna say B. Just pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm gonna say B plus. And it's to Kyle's point where he was saying the D line is the one that sucks up the O line. No, in this 3-3-5, I think that is going to be those linebackers in that jack position. I think they have to fill those gaps. And yes, the D line is doing their job, but I give them a slightly higher grade than the D line because they're actually doing their job. Mm-hmm. In the past, we have not seen them do their job. Reimer's always been a dog. He's always been all over the field. But you talk about Bullock, you talk about they've just been switching guys out in that jack position.
They got Mekhi Bear out there.
Yeah, Mekhi. Yeah, like they've just been rotating guys out, and they've all rose to the occasion. I think it's like plug and play essentially. Like Tony White is. This is the defense. I don't care which number you are. I don't care if you're single digit, whatever. This is your job. Do it, and they're doing it. So I'm going to give it a slightly higher grade. I said B for the D line. I'm going to say B plus for the linebackers.
Okay. I'm torn. I'm torn.
Hey, I went
all
in on the D line.
I went all in on the D line. I'm gonna say a B for the linebackers. The reason for that is the big part of this horrendous 3rd and long defense. Your linebackers cover the middle of the field or of the area to gain, right? And those guys are in charge of making sure that nobody gets past them. And this defense has not been great on 3rd and long. That is one of the biggest. They're great at stopping the run, but as far as like coverage goes and just trying to stop anybody from a 5 to 7 to 10 yard gain, boy, it's been rough. It has been really rough.
The flat is just
Yeah.
terrible.
Okay, but that's where the rule recruiting needs to come in though, because having Nick Henrich play like in coverage, I'm sorry, like that's not gonna work.
Yeah,
he's not like he's an okay athlete, but he's not a guy that's gonna be able to cover the running back in the flat. Like he's not a guy that's gonna cover your slot receivers, and he's doing that in a zone type of defense. But yes, I think there's more to be desired.
Yeah,
there.
100%. And part of that could be by design.
Part of that it's schematic too, though.
Yeah,
so they're playing soft zones. And the offense takes what the defense gives them.
Right.
And a lot of times it's 14 yards when they need 14.
Right. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I'll say B. I love the run defense, but the 3rd and long just kills me. It just kills me, and they're a big part of that. So,
Kyle just touched on about everything I wanted to say. I'm gonna give them a B+, but it's a low B+. Like at any point they could drop down to that B, but at this moment, I like that B+ for them.
Okay. High grades for the most part.
Yep.
Defensive backs. What are you thinking?
Have we really played a team that's been able to like just sling it?
Colorado.
Yeah.
And they did. They did sling it.
They did.
When they were out there after,
I mean, it's the best team in the Colorado's best team in the country, right?
best coach, best quarterback, best watch,
everything.
They are 7-0 at the moment.
Shador.
Yeah. They're the best at giving up 29-point leads.
So
that's what I've heard.
I guess we've when we've played somebody that can do that, they haven't really. It wasn't there. This is probably a lower grade than what the defense is probably going to average. C+. I feel it's more of a C+, which it could go to that B, but I don't think we have a lot. We haven't seen a lot of teams that can,
you're right.
compare them to.
Yeah, and this is another discussion where it's like you can only play who's in front of you, and But gosh, I think of Isaac Gifford balling out. I think of I'm trying to decide on Hartzog. I'm trying to decide on him. I'm still kind of
I think he's a safety. I really do.
So you're not sure if he's a dog? Would you at least call him a puppy?
Call him a runt.
Well, I mean, you can be a dog and still get burnt. So
that's fair.
Well, I mean, we watched Travis Hunter, who's really good at football.
Yeah.
Had a guy catch a ball on his fucking head this week to win a football game.
It can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. And Travis Hunter's a really good defensive back. So,
and Quentin Newsom's, he's just steady Eddie guy.
He got his first pick.
He did
of his career, which is weird.
Yeah, it is
so long
because he's just been there.
Yes,
doesn't get targeted a lot. Omar Brown has stood out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Deshaun Singleton up until the injury, like guys that you would have never thought would contribute and have. So I think I'm going to be a little more generous, and I'll say B+. I'll say B+. I'm high on this group.
Cool.
And going forward as well, you're playing teams that should not be able to sling the ball. And so the secondary should just continue to play well. That's my advice to them. Just keep playing good, please.
I'm going to say a C+. And I would say it's because of the opportunities they haven't taken advantage of. They dropped interceptions, not going and making a play. There has been many plays out there that this defense, and they've been good. I'm not saying they've been bad or anything, but there's been plays out there that if they just go and make that play, like against Minnesota, you could end the game, just catch the freaking ball, right?
Yeah.
There's just those plays where it's like, they leave a lot out on the table there. So I would say it's a C+ with Deshaun Singleton out. That kind of affects my grade a little bit too, because I don't know how long he's going to be out, and he's like that run stopper type guy. He's been balling out. I think Hartzog's a safety. The more I've seen him play, I think he can cover a slot guy, but I don't think he's a true number one corner. Don't put him on an island anymore. I've got to that point. I think he can cover a slot guy. I think he can, in situations, be a corner, but I think he needs to be a safety.
Yeah. And I hate to interject because I know Kyle's next, but so you brought up the point that we haven't really played a lot of teams that sling the ball around, but I think that factors into my grade because
Louisiana Tech does too, though. That's like their thing.
What you've seen is an improved tackling team, especially from the secondary.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. It'd be so easy for these teams that don't sling the ball around to have these intermediate plays that turn into big ones because of broken tackles. This team has been sure-handed in their tackling.
Totally.
So, gosh, I'm gonna still say B though. I'm gonna say B.
You said B+.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was.
Now you're going down to B. I
Damn,
talked you down.
B. No, B+.
They leave so much to be desired.
It's a man of conviction.
They
right
do.
there.
Yeah,
that's why I'm at a C+.
Yeah, that was going to be like a topic of my discussion. I was going to give them a B-. I was going to lump them in with the linebackers and the fact that the third and long conversion is just horrendous right now.
Yeah.
But the tackling on the perimeters, like the swing passes and the screens, like that has been superb. Like excellent, way better than anything we've seen over the last
I've not seen
5-6 years.
Since Scott.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to lump them in kind of with the linebackers and just kind of bump them down just a little bit just because of the third down conversion rate right now for opponents.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they don't stand out like they're getting burned every play.
That's a good thing, though.
It's a perfect, it's a great thing. Yeah. So I'm going to say B- for them because they're contributing a little bit to the run stop with the design blitzes and things like that, like the corner blitzes that are going on with Omar Brown. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to like these third down conversions.
Get off the field.
Just get off.
Just get off the field.
That should be another one. Get off the field.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
So again, we've covered a lot of what I wanted to say. Tackling has seen a significant improvement year over year. But like Mike said, there have been a lot of missed opportunities. So I almost considered saying I was going to make up my own grades, whether it be a C++ or a B-. Just like really high C+ or really low B-. But I think ultimately I do have to give these DBs a B-.
Interceptions are the definition of a good defensive back core.
Yes.
Yeah. But
and there's just not a whole lot.
Just no takeaways. They need to take the ball away.
Yeah.
Again,
that's what I want to see them do.
What is important to remember is that these ratings are in a vacuum. They are rated based on what we expected this unit to do this year. I think right now that's a B- from what my expectations were.
Hopefully Wisconsin slings it 50 times.
Yeah.
And they'll give them a chance to get interceptions. Clinton Denbor asks, do we have a top 2 round defensive guy on the roster?
Yeah, I do.
Who?
Cam Lenhart. If he, when healthy, he has been the best pass rusher we've seen since Randy Gregory. So I would say if he is healthy and continues the trajectory that he started at the beginning of the year, because he really didn't even play against Illinois. They said he was available, and then we didn't see him. We didn't really see him at all. So I would say we have a guy like that, but he's also a true freshman. So we have lots of time to evaluate.
Yeah. Right.
Speaking of Randy Gregory, didn't he retire like this last week?
No.
He's
on the Niners. He got a sack yesterday.
Oh, why did I think he retired?
No, he did not retire.
Was there a Husker that retired this last week?
It was a couple. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like, I know there was a retirement.
Prince retired. Prince of Mugamara.
In like the last couple of weeks.
It was like before the season.
Before the season.
There was one.
But they celebrated him in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, maybe that's what I saw.
Yeah, but
I think you're right. I mean, Len Hardwood, considering a lot of things fall into place. I did.
Will.
What?
Nick says Will.
Will
who?
Honus.
No. Will Compton, I think is what he's talking about. Retired. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's
he retired every couple weeks.
He retired. He was unemployed last year too. So.
I looked at that.
You're 10.
What I was remembering was October 4 when the Cowboys released Randy Gregory.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the Broncos released him. Sorry.
Yeah, and then he signed with the Niners and got a sack because
that was the
he's
news
a
in my
dog.
head.
Yeah.
It was not a retirement. I'm just stupid.
I love when guys fail up.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like, oh man, I just got cut from one of the worst teams in the NFL, and now I go to the best team in the NFL, and I get to pass rush alongside of Nick Bosa.
Right.
Rough life.
Unrelated. The Niners are winning the Super Bowl this year, right?
I hope.
Like
honestly, like I'm rooting for them.
I don't.
And I'm not even a Niners
dislike
fan.
I don't like the Niners, but like they are the most complete.
They have a Husker now, so now I can root for them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give Randy Gregory a ring.
Yeah.
The Panthers are gonna win.
Hey, how many games have the Panthers won yet? Because Matt Rule was the reason.
Fucking 0.
Poverty franchise.
You know what they call Frank Reich? They call him Frank Rule. And I'm just like, you guys you just can't let it go.
Hey,
yeah.
As Frank Reich, I don't know if you guys know this, was the Colts head coach up until the end of last season. Here's what I have to say. If you're listening and you are a Carolina Panthers fan, suck it, losers. You bought him.
2 words. Suck it. I don't know. Like, okay, going back to the NFL question. When I think of older guys, I did mention Nash but I don't think he's top 2 rounds. I mean,
No.
you got to be pretty damn good.
No.
Especially as a D lineman, you got to be pretty damn good. When I think of the secondary, I think Gifford would have great measurables.
But he'd be like a 4 or 5 round guy, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think Quentin's.
I think he's
not
draftable.
Yeah, but you got
But he'll be late.
You got to be I mean, CTB. When did he get drafted? Later?
No, he was
right
earlier. Like
was he
3rd? I think.
But that dude flashed.
Yeah.
Like athletically freak.
Yeah, and
made
he's
like awesome plays.
Honestly, like this might be like bullshit, but I think he really might be one of the best corners in football. So
locking down DK.
yeah, I mean he's good. He's a baller. He got an INT this week on his birthday. So shout out TTB.
Shout out.
So yeah, I would say there's probably like 3 guys if the stars align.
If the stars align and if they don't jump the gun, right?
Mhm.
Develop.
Mhm.
Let the team get some success. Let the team get some success.
Yeah.
You guys win some games. That will look. Everybody always says it. Let the wins boost your draft score. Like if you're part of a winning football program, I find it hard to believe that does not go into the consideration that you're going to go higher rather than later. Well, how many times did we see some really good football players in the last 6 years go like undrafted or whatever? Because our teams have been 3-win teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like there has to be some sort of consideration, right?
I still to this day will
Conspiracy.
say that's not a conspiracy. I still to this day say the year that Mike Riley was our head coach and we broke that streak of drafted players, that was 1,000 billion% collusion. Tell me how Stanley Morgan did not get drafted. Tell me how Devine Azigbo did not get drafted.
Right.
You got all these guys that are still in the league now that did not get drafted in 7 freaking rounds, 100+ picks, and you're saying that these guys were not better than the guys from Mayonnaise State that you took over them? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry.
Hey, where did Jerry Rice go to college?
Freaking
Mississippi Valley
there it
State.
is, Mississippi Valley.
Just saying. Well, listen, you say that conspiracy, and I counter that with, why would an NFL team like not draft the best available player for them instead of going, oh, let's fuck Nebraska?
Tell me why.
Instead of making their team better.
Tell me why Stanley Morgan has been on the Bengals on that roster for this long.
Active roster.
Yes, and he was not draftable. Not a draft guy.
Team saw better fits for what they needed at the time.
Yeah.
They saw him become a free agent. They signed him then.
You're supposed to be conspiracy Connor. What are you doing right now?
He's cover corner now, baby.
Yeah,
he's covering the
By the
corner.
way, for those of you listening, the cover corner is 17-2 right now. That is an 89.8% win
Backdoor Connor, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to change that TikTok playlist to Backdoor Connor, by the way.
Vegas is shaking in their boots every Wednesday night when I put my iPhone on that little ring light every week.
So you heard Mike say the conspiracy about the NFL.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Shit.
He's a nut.
I'm
He's
not
a nut.
I mean, you see these guys, and I mean, they're from Nebraska, right? They're probably not going to be that good. Why not hold out and get them on the cheap?
Okay,
Bang.
but like a 6th and 7th round guy and an undrafted free agent, they're about the same damn thing. I don't know. I just to me, it was like, okay, we really don't like this Mike Riley guy. He can't develop shit.
Just a nice guy.
Yeah, like we're not. They told all the scouts, they're like, yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Anybody that was tutelaged by Mike Riley, nah.
Yeah.
Is that a metaphor for something?
So
I was tutelaged.
I was tutelaged.
it boils down to, when it comes to draft time, what's a GM's job? Get the most talent for the least amount of money. How do they do that? By, banking on the fact that, these guys, like, not a whole lot of teams are looking at them. I can probably go get them as unsigned or undrafted free agents.
Mhm.
And that's what's happening. And it's not to say these guys aren't talented. They clearly are. They clearly are very talented. But
that was also the same year that Lamar Jackson was in that class as
Yeah.
well.
Well, Connor, you have provided a good case as to why Mike and I are wrong, and I'm sad because of it. So we can just move on. From
Yes.
that.
Okay. What do you grade special teams?
Special teams.
Alvano, because he's the only one that's kicked so far.
Go ahead, start, David.
Yeah, Tristan.
Alvano.
No, not just kicker. Just as a whole.
Yeah,
as
these
a
guys,
whole.
all these
right.
guys.
Fine.
Return game, block game.
I love Ed Foley. Like, my guy.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
is
yeah.
so funny. He's awesome. I want us to have a big play so he can come out of press conference and say some just random shit that he says. But they haven't done anything. You know, we're trying to return the ball. Kicking
well.
hasn't been, not well. Kicking hasn't been good. So
or average.
It's been bad.
Yeah.
C plus. C minus.
C minus. Yeah, I would agree. C minus. Recovered a cool fumble against Illinois. That was nice. Hey, like
it's cool.
They did something that they usually don't do. C minus. C minus.
If you would have asked me before the Illinois game, I would have gave them a D minus. I'm going to give them a C. And that's because they had one good return. They have blocked a kick. And they had that cool recovery thing because of the wind. That's it. But the kicking is bad. The punting is, I'm sorry, Buschini, like it's below average.
Buschini needs to do better.
He's inconsistent for a guy that strives to be an NFL guy. He's just not. So, and like people aren't talking about this, but like the departure of Brendan Franke is probably like one of the most low-key things that would have helped the rural area, because that guy kicked it through the end zone every play and he's not here. So like, I just want a guy that kicks the ball through the end zone. Then you never have to worry about kickoff returns.
We haven't had that in years.
Yeah. Well, last year, I mean, literally up until last year, we had Frankie, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That like hid all the previous stuff from former head coach Scott and all of that bad special teams. So
yeah,
we already pulled it, Jared. Don't get excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. The punting, Mike, I feel like you and I have had differing opinions.
I know you do,
on
but
the
I'm not a
punting.
big Buschini. I think, seriously, he averages like 40 yards a punt. I watch the NFL, and these guys are booting at 50, 60 yards. And
Well,
I'm like,
hey, these are the NFL.
How is this guy thinking that he's going to be a punter at the next level? Because he's not. He's inconsistent.
I think last year he averaged like 43 point something yards.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, that's average. That's what you get, right? That's average for the country. So, I mean, it is what it is. I will say, watching that Iowa-Wisconsin game, that Iowa punter is for real.
He's going to get drafted.
That dude is for real.
Yes.
Tory Taylor.
As much as I hate to say that, but I don't know. Like, yeah, you had the big return against Minnesota. You had the crazy recovered kickoff against Illinois. You've had a blocked kick. Like, I don't know.
What's your grade?
Special teams is so weird.
Brass tacks. What's your grade?
3 phases, Kyle.
I'm gonna say C minus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you bring up again. I'll make this quick. You bring up the Iowa punter. I want to point out that I believe, as of this moment, that the Iowa special teams, like their average amount of yards for punts, supersedes the amount of offensive yards they get in a game.
Yeah,
So
listen, that punter has a lot of practice.
Yeah, calling him the real deal is not a joke.
Yeah.
He averaged 50.5 yards per punt last week. Wow. 50.5.
And he was parking them on the 1 yard.
Oh,
line.
yeah. My man's that's a dog, and I hate to say it.
He's a punting dog.
He's a dog, though.
Not a hunting dog, a punting dog.
But so we talked, extensively about the positives that have come out of special teams this year. But again, we're rating this in a vacuum. And going into this season, I think going into the Minnesota game, how many times did I say the player that I was most excited to see was Tristan Alvano?
Mm-hmm.
So when I factor, those kicks into this rating,
you have to.
I was very, very close to giving this special teams unit a D+. Very close. I'm going to be nice because I think there are some real positives there, and I'm going to give him a C-. I think that's fair. But Tristan Alvano,
figure it out.
I think figure it out is right. I think that the potential is there. I don't know if he's just in his own head. I don't know if he's got the yips or whatever. But disappointing is about the nicest thing I could say.
Against Illinois, he did all right.
2 of 3.
Yeah, the other one, he kicked the
Yeah.
laces on the other one.
And
I don't. How much of a difference does that make anyway?
What was
Oh,
the
it
distance?
has to make a huge difference.
We need a specialist
Well, no,
on
hey,
one of these days.
What was the distance on the kick he missed?
Oh God,
Like a chip shot.
Chip shot.
Like
Chip
It's like
shot.
30.
That's the.
It was
I don't
30
give a
yards.
shit. You give me laces, give me whatever. Just
Figure it out.
figure it out.
From that
Tristan-
close, it shouldn't be a factor.
Tristan, I'm
Figure
sure
it
you're
out.
listening right now. I know you are. You're a 5-star kicker coming in here. I was your biggest cheerleader. I still believe in you, but I need you to figure it out.
Especially since
So-
the offense is not good.
C minus.
The last couple weeks, man, NFL and college have not been nice to kickers.
No, they have not.
Should kickers exist?
Yes.
Honestly, it is
They
one of the most
change games.
It is
Isn't
one
it
of the
weird?
most baffling freaking things in the sport that the kickers are missing field goals.
Yeah.
It's the most baffling thing to me. That is the only thing that you do. It's the only thing. And you're missing.
Like, I know it's
be that
called-
quarterback. Sorry.
So
No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Like in the league, there really shouldn't be a bad quarterback.
Right.
Like a
there's 32
bad
of you
yeah,
total.
yeah, kickers.
Well,
There should
starters.
be
Yeah.
way more. There's plenty of soccer players that can kick a football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same argument. These guys are supposed to be the best, and there shouldn't. It's harsh, but there shouldn't be a bad one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
right.
Purdue, that kicker missed like 3 field goals
that's
this
so
weekend. And they invited a student out for a contest and he nailed like a 40-yarder.
Well, you saw
Yeah.
at the Nebraska game that kid that made that contest, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he make and it was like a good distance, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
35.
Look, just,
35.
just for
Yeah.
anybody, just to
I can't make
35.
35, so it's a good distance for me.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to point out, I minutes ago, we'll call it 10 minutes ago, I just said the Niners will likely win the Super Bowl. Didn't their kicker miss 3 kicks?
Yeah, he had a rough
kicks
day
in
this
a
week.
game.
Yeah.
In one game.
I'll never understand it. It's the most baffling thing to me.
If I don't have a kicker above 80%, I'm furious.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm putting you out, like if your regular kick is like 45 to 55 yards, I don't expect you to hit 80%. But if I'm putting you in 30 to 45, brother, if you're not hitting 80%,
Brother.
I need you to go. There's a McDonald's down the street and they are accepting applications. Like it's ridiculous. Within 35 to 45, you should be.
he
hitting
only
those.
missed 2.
2.
Yeah, he
Two.
was
Was
one
there-
of 3.
Was there an extra point missed?
I don't know. But
I think there were 3 kicks missed total.
okay. But he did miss the game winner, which was a chip shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 41 yards. Come on now.
Come on. Again, exactly what I'm saying. It's
Figure it
35 to 45.
You should be money.
Especially if you're in the NFL.
Figure it out.
I
Yeah.
need you to hit those.
You guys.
Yeah.
So we gave all our grades. And, I debated, should we talk about coaches? Yes or no?
Just
No.
like a quick.
I
think
know,
just a
given
quick,
the time and everything, like I just don't think we need.
just,
I
just
don't
give like
know.
a good quick like team overview. What is your grade of the team?
As a team,
Yes.
3-3, 2 of their wins are against
Post.
group of 5s. So C minus.
C minus for Jared. David, what do you got?
Let's go C. They're kind of doing what they should be doing, and if they win the games they should, it could go up right away, or they lose them all and it drops. So
I'm going to stick with C minus with Jared saying. I think the reason I'm saying that is the Minnesota game. Like, you should have won that game and you did not. So I'm going to say C minus.
Okay. You bring up the Minnesota game. You should have won that. Thanks. I should not say that. Considering an injury to your starting quarterback that has 6 turnovers, the coaching staff could have gone back to Jeff Sims. They could have. And they said, nah, we've got a guy that's protecting the football. He's winning some games.
Oh, boy.
They made a decision.
Oh,
They
boy.
made a decision.
They could have
for
played Sims.
for the betterment. Look, all the NIL money, all this pressure, Jeff Sims, all this other stuff, that was your guy, right? And they turned around and they said, maybe we were wrong. Maybe.
Give him credit. Give him credit.
Yeah,
You have
he
to
has
give him
not
credit.
said that.
You have to give him credit.
He can't
he
say
has
it. He can't
said-
say it.
He can't say it.
I have 3 quarterbacks that I think we can win with. So that
Here's
is
your-
what he said
here-
over and over.
Here's your 3 quarterbacks right there.
Right. So you've got
David knows.
You've got
He was
2
there.
wins. You've got 2 wins against opponents that you should automatically win every year.
Even Nebraska, as bad as they've been.
Yes.
Yes.
You've lost to Northern Illinois in the last 3 years. You beat them. Then you go on the road and you play a Big Ten West team that has kicked your teeth in the last couple of years. You beat them.
Big Bert.
Sitting right now with my expectation, knowing that Rule wins 2 games a year, and the performance of Nebraska.
That's what he's gonna say. What is he gonna say?
The performance that Nebraska has put out right now in the record that we're looking at.
Oh no!
Hey, give me a B-.
Oh, okay. He built it up all that for a B-.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was worried there.
Yeah,
Kyle, you are killing me today
These scores are in a vacuum.
because
they are.
again,
I don't know if the score
with everything Kyle just said,
no, he built it up.
with the injuries we have faced, with the
Yes.
teams we have played, with what this Nebraska team is dealing with,
Yes.
it's a B-.
Praise
God damn it, Kyle.
Praise God.
Oh my
Again, we're looking at what we expect out of a team that has been riddled with injury.
Riddled.
That-
God.
yeah, I mean, it's been
true.
tough.
It's been ruled.
So,
with injuries.
you know,
Yes.
if we lose to Northwestern, which, praise God, hopefully we do not, then, it's a different story. But I think with what we've got, with the injuries we've had, especially in like a lot of key offensive players, I think I got to still give him a B- from what I expect out of this team. It's a B-.
There's an argument about the chicken salad out of chicken shit argument.
Yeah.
That you could make for sure. Yeah. I could see it.
Just
play the hand you're dealt.
just
And they're
the
playing it well.
Just the Nebraska grade. Matt Rule, Mike,
Every time.
every time spilling the beer. Every week.
Oh, my Lord.
Dropping the microphone.
I mean, he spilled it, but he just like stared at it. You didn't even move your computer.
Mike doesn't get tall beers anymore.
Just the
That was a small one.
Nah, I know, but
You know what? Hey,
tall one
we
earlier.
need,
Yeah,
we
you
need
don't
a
get
new
tall ones
computer.
anymore.
We need
Yeah.
a new computer here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I just the vacuum grade. Looking at Nebraska, what you expected based off of the last 5 years.
I blame the buildup that Kyle gave me. I really do.
Well,
I was just like rattling my cup.
You
Like,
got-
oh my God.
yeah.
He was right, though.
That's the way I
He
see
is
it.
fine.
That's the way I see it.
His buildup has good points.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
You do. You have good points. Thank
Yes.
you.
I'm not saying he's wrong,
Do we do
but I want to see the other half of the season.
Right. That's big.
Yeah. I want to see that.
That's a
Of
lot.
course.
We're only halfway through the novel, guys.
Yeah.
We're half baked, baby.
as we have now finished rating all the units and the total team, we are halfway through the season. Do we do a rapid fire
Oh shit.
total season prediction?
Fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Rapid fire numbers, and you've got.
Does the rule still apply?
I would say everybody's
Does
got
the rule still apply?
That you
6
can't.
and 6.
You can't guess 6 and
Can you
6.
still have to pick a side?
the rule still applies.
Okay.
And I think I say 20 to 30 seconds maximum per person.
No, not. No.
Yeah,
I don't-
just
that's
quick.
too many.
Just
Yeah.
quick.
Rapid fire.
David,
All
where
right,
are we
David.
finishing the season?
All right, 5 and 7. It's going to come down to Iowa in glorious fashion, and we're going to lose because that's what Nebraska does when it comes down to, the nitty gritty.
Do you think we'll lose by a field goal?
It's going to be gross.
I've seen enough
Like
of that.
I think
gonna
it's
be
going to be like
Beautiful.
a beautiful game.
A beautiful.
It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be 5-2 at halftime.
Oh, yeah. Oh my
There's
god.
going to be 85 total yards. Just a glorious punt, and Nebraska drops the punt.
Oh, no.
Iowa picks it up and runs
Oh.
in the end zone. So
Oof.
5 and 7. It's going to be glorious.
Jared,
Damn.
Pick
rapid fire.
a side.
You're gonna force me to pick a side.
Rapid fire.
Pick a side.
It's not rapid. Damn. 7 and 5.
7 and 5.
Wow.
Harburg time. And the defense. But most of the defense. Most of the defense.
I'm going to pick a side.
I
I'm
know.
going to pick a
Hold
side.
on really quick.
7
Because
and 5.
I have to ask this. Jared, what happens if we go 7 and 5?
We're going to
Charmel to
take an
softball.
NBNR trip to
Do-
a bowl game.
Burn the house down.
Do we go to a bowl game?
streaking?
Is that a bingo?
That's a bingo.
Bingo!
That's a bingo.
Thanks, Nick.
Shout out, Nick.
7 and 5, Mike. That's me.
I'm gonna stick
Stick.
to my guns, and I don't want to
Stick.
Like I let me put it this way. If we go 7-5, we are doing a live show at a bowl game. It's going to be awesome. With that being said, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to stick to what I know. 5-7, and that's where we're going to be. Until I've seen it, figure it out. And you said the Harburg time. I'm going to say Harburg time on the other way. We're like, if he doesn't throw more than 50% of his passes, it's going to be the other way. It's going to be like, oh, okay, cool. We're just going to put 10 people in the box. We'll have one guy back there. He'll figure it out.
Well, he throws.
Throw it. Figure it out. Throw it.
He throws 100% of his passes.
How dare you say that about the hometown kid?
I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me.
Cow.
I realistically would pick 6-6.
I know,
regardless of your rule.
Cop out.
No, you don't get to.
I know.
Discussion last night.
Because I would love to pick a 6-6 season. I'm picking a 7-5 season. Heinrich Harburg's throwing 58%. So you said throws half. He's throwing 58.
That's where he's going to end it, or right now?
That's where he's at right now.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So
it's not good.
I thought it was lower, but it could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah, 58%.
Okay, you got the stats.
Kind of.
Okay.
He's doing his best here.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
We got KB 2 phones over here.
Yeah, 7-5 is what KB's going with.
All right. Okay. So if I were a betting man looking at the schedule, looking at what they've got left on their teams, because we are not the only injury-ridden team this season.
It's true.
I'm taking 7-5. And I'm a little worried to do this.
Oh, God.
But I'm going to put the cover corner guarantee on this.
Jesus.
Cover corner guarantee on 7-5.
Dude, listen,
7-5.
his track record's been
backdoor
solid.
guarantee.
Backdoor guarantee.
Yeah.
The cover corner, which you can catch on our TikTok every Wednesday night, is currently 17-2. 17-2.
Backdoor
89% win rate.
Reach around. It don't matter.
Yeah.
But looking at these teams, I think the only team pretty much through the rest of the season that worries me is Maryland. That's the only one that gives me any sort of pause.
Paper Tiger.
They did just lose to Illinois.
Paper Tiger.
Yep.
You don't know what you're getting with them.
November.
Right.
Yeah. Maryland can be explosive or they could suck. But, I mean, they're not a team to scoff at. Again, Wisconsin, Iowa losing quarterbacks, Northwestern. Just
let me stop you there.
Northwestern.
There's not a single team you can scoff at left on the schedule.
Nope.
Not a single one. Nebraska, or all those teams scoff at Nebraska. So,
again, 17-2 here. I'm scoffing at a lot of them.
okay.
I'm scoffing at a lot of them.
Oh, shit.
I think there are a lot of winnable games on there. And, you know, as long as Nebraska plays to what Nebraska's capability is, and I'm not even saying like their full capability, but what we expect out of them, I think 7-5 is pretty reasonable.
We'll do this again next week after the Northwestern game.
Yeah.
I'd like to. Because
it's really
Northwestern's going to say a lot.
Yeah.
I think it will.
sure.
If somehow Nebraska loses Northwestern, you'll be speaking of my casket.
How many times did we come out on a bye week and absolutely
lost.
blow it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to
time.
see how this team is prepared after a bye week, getting healthy, getting Reimer back, all that stuff. Let's see how they look after Northwestern. And we're going to revisit this next week.
Let me tell you, too, if the success after a timeout is any indication of a success after a bye week, I'm nervous.
You should be.
I'm nervous.
They just look. I have to go into that real because you brought up a point that I have said with Jared every time I've watched a game. They are irresponsible with timeouts. I'm sorry.
Agreed.
They are. They are
totally.
They are so irresponsible with timeouts on both halves. Like, you think that, okay, I get first half, like, let's get the guys focused, whatever.
Yeah.
The second half, when you're taking these timeouts just because you're not set or because the play isn't right, coming off of a TV timeout, that is just
totally.
That is so irresponsible. That needs to be figured out.
It's the same story over and over, over the past couple of years, right?
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
You just feel it happening again.
Yes. So that's why I say 5-7.
So another thing, because last week we weren't able to do it. We were going into a bye week. Rapid fire score predictions.
Score predictions. Let's do it.
Ooh.
All right.
We're going to start with our special guest, though.
So the line is at 12?
Huskers currently favored by 12.5.
12.5.
Yeah. I mean, if history tells us anything,
that don't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
The over-under is at 43.5.
Okay. Yeah. There's only been one game in the past how many years? 5. The entire series, we've won one game by a boatload.
Yep.
every other game, it's one possession.
Yep.
It always comes down to that last just disgusting play. I think that's going to happen again. Nebraska's offense just doesn't have enough to pull away. And I mean, Northwestern did come back down 21, right?
Yeah.
So
31-10 versus Minnesota.
it's going to be one of those gross games again. Like 17-14.
Who?
Nebraska.
Okay.
Okay, Jared.
Nebraska 24, Northwestern 16.
Okay.
Would you say 24-16?
Yeah.
Northwestern.
No, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I'm going to pick Nebraska to win this game 16-13.
Jesus. That's a rock fight.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Northwestern playing against actual Power 5 defenses, they're scoring like 14 points. Tops.
Dude, even against
I said
Howard.
13.
Against Howard, they scored 23?
Against Howard.
The Howard.
Thank you.
Howard who?
Yeah. So I've got Nebraska winning 27-10.
We're not far off.
Okay.
I have Nebraska 28, Northwestern 14. However, I'm adding a bonus where I get a special trophy if I'm right on both of these, where it'll be 28-14 Nebraska, and Northwestern will miss a field goal.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. Our boy
What's a
Mervin.
Mervin.
Says 35-10.
Mervin.
I think he means Nebraska. I would assume.
I would assume.
Of course, it's
Yeah,
Mervin,
probably.
man. What do you think Mervin's about?
Mervin's a dog. He's picking
yeah.
Nebraska.
He's a goat.
What was his Michigan score? 35-10 Nebraska.
I think he picked us to beat Michigan.
Mervin. He's a good egg. You guys, is there anything else? I mean,
No.
Colorado.
No, that is funny.
Damn it.
Hey,
what are you talking about?
Hey, remember that time Colorado blew a 29-0 lead?
29-0.
So did you see Shador actually got an NIL deal for the watch thing? It's from Louis Vuitton. It's just a big old L that he hangs on his fucking wrist. Suck it, Colorado.
Why did I stop watching that game?
I turned it off. I literally turned it Impractical Jokers.
I was
I went to sleep at halftime.
I was editing a high school football highlight, and I was just watching it in the background, just watching it all unfold, and it was just
29.
It was awesome.
It was incredible.
Oh, it was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
When I woke up in the morning, I had the notification on my phone that they blew that lead, which was embarrassing. Dion,
Sorry.
just there's a lot of caves in Colorado, dude. You can go stay in there for a couple of weeks.
They're coming.
But when I saw the notification, I think my exact words were, "Oh, fuck yeah!"
Holy
right as I woke up.
I woke up to that.
I woke up my girlfriend because I said, "Oh, fuck yeah," and she looked at me and she was like, "What happened?" It's like Colorado blew that lead, and she, not a huge football fan, but like follows football, just looked at me and was like, "Fuck Dion."
Yeah.
And I was like, I loved her more in that second than I've ever loved her before.
I was conflicted. I was pissed off because I missed it live.
Yeah.
I wish
but
I
I'm
saw
glad
it
it didn't stay
live,
up because
but-
if you think about it, dude, like when it was halftime, it was almost midnight.
I know,
Right.
dude.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I was like, I turned on Practical Jokers, went to sleep, it was 29-0.
Yeah.
Came over like
and
1:30.
It went to double overtime.
Yeah.
That shit got done at like almost 2 a.m. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't stay up because I would have.
Yeah.
What-
Saw
what-
the whole thing.
What I find incredibly funny about that whole thing is that the week prior, they beat the worst team in the Pac-12. And that was double overtime. against
Arizona
ASU.
State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double overtime in ASU. And Shador is out there flexing his watch. First of all, calm down. Worst team in the Pac-12. And then they play the second worst team in the Pac-12. And they they lose the biggest comeback in Pac-12 history. Put the watches away, sell them, start investing in your future. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
He was posting on his Instagram story during that game.
Yeah, at halftime.
During the game?
During the
I don't know
game,
if
he
it was
posted.
him,
Yes, but it came
maybe
from
it
his
was just
account.
A manager, but you can't be doing that shit.
In the middle of the game at halftime, he
Wait,
posted
For his own, like,
It was
his
like
own
merch.
merch.
It was a merch line.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Oh.
right at halftime.
And knowing Shadir,
29-0.
that was
Hey, and you know,
That was
you
him.
said the game ended around 12:30. Around 12:35, a whole lot of returns came in. People return.
I'm going to
that.
cancel my order immediately.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're at a point.
David,
I just want to say, so you're at Hurrdat Sports. You were there when I came into Hurrdat Sports. You're a guy that I look forward to, like, for some guidance as far as like social media and graphics and everything else. So just talk a little bit about your role at Hurrdat Sports and kind of tell us where people can find you.
Yeah. I mean, I've been at Hurrdat Sports for shit. I mean, it hasn't been that long. It's like March. So I haven't even been that long. And I already feel like one of the older guys there. I mean, since you've even been there, we've added how many people?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and it seems to all be social media strategists.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's your role too, right?
Yeah.
You can throw a rock through the window and you're going to hit a social media strategist in the head.
it's a good title. They might want to think about like rebranding the titles.
We probably need to change it.
Yeah. Like, what is your specialty, right?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you that.
Yeah. Do you make TikToks? You show a little TNA or what?
I'm not the face. I make these other people look real good.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Mike said TNA. He didn't say face.
Yeah.
or feet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you're
Some
into.
people like
foot page.
Yeah.
Well, shit. So I'm at all the football games. You can see me running up and down the sideline, all these other games. So
not cheering.
No.
There is no we. We do not say we.
Yeah.
That's right.
You can't say Mike Sauter will not let us say we. You say we in the office, he will rip your ass.
Yeah.
I also beat
good.
Mike Sauter in a push-up contest. Just want the whole world
Yes.
to know that.
You beat him?
I was involved. I
Okay.
was involved.
Yeah.
So you talked.
How many did you do?
Are
If you were involved.
Well, we set a max at 25, and then the second round, I was like, I'll be a counter.
you were in the military, Kyle. I expect 100 out of you.
I was in the military back in 2018. Like, I have not done a push-up.
Let's go back in time.
You protect America, damn it.
so you said you're running up and down sidelines. Covering games.
Okay, running.
Could you beat me in a race?
Oh, jeez.
Do you
This is
think-
going.
Do you think you could beat me in a race?
Yeah.
You think so?
We'll see. How many people have said they think they can beat you in a race?
Most of them.
Everybody but Robbie.
Yeah. So I'm going to get on that.
I do want to point out that Voss told me she could beat
God.
me in a race. She beat me by a half step.
And that's not a half a step.
It was unofficial.
It was more than half a step.
No, it's a half step. If
You had to
look at
run
where the
twice. She smoked you the first time, and
No,
then the second time was half
no.
a step.
We didn't run twice. She jumped like 2 seconds prior, and I just stopped. It's like, no, you're coming back and starting from where we're supposed to start.
While she was running, she was smoking that Connor pack.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Half
Bozo.
step.
R.I.P. Bozo.
Half step.
Half step.
She's an
Probably
athlete.
half step.
I'm a guy that drinks beer every day.
Yeah.
Imagine we eat both.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So David, where can they find you? Twitter?
Yeah. Twitter. You got the Shoe David, but it's SCHU. I'm not a shoe maker. I'm a Schumacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Mocker.
Pisses me off if you say Schumacher. Shoemaker.
Oh,
I was like, yeah,
All right,
punch Jared in the face.
It's like a freaking war between the two sides. All right. No, it's Schumacher, SCHU_David. Say hi. Shit.
Say hi. Shit.
so you're on.
I'm going to say hi
I'm on
shit right
Twitter.
now.
Same handle for. Do you have Instagram?
Don't follow my Instagram. I don't use that shit.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They're
So
all just mirror
Well-
pics of him with his shirt off.
Yeah.
follow you at Twitter
And feet.
at Schumacher. Sorry, Shoemaker_David.
Jeez.
Yeah. Shoe_David. Love it. That's it. It's simple. It's my name.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
No, I do just want to say I love the hat that you are sporting. Yeah. It's very nice.
Love it. Isn't it nice?
That is a very sick hat.
You know, with all this movement in college football, I would not mind
Let's go back.
Nebraska going back to the Big 8.
Let's go back.
But the Big 2, I don't care. I want to go back to the Big 8. I don't
Please.
care.
Please.
You know what I'm saying?
So I have to ask, is that like a vintage hat or a recreation?
It's a vintage hat.
That's very sick.
Yeah. There's a great spot in Lincoln where you can buy stuff like this.
Mhm.
you can plug them.
All right. Right. It's called Vintage Link, like Great Plains Vintage Lincoln. It's awesome. I think probably a fourth of my closet is probably from that place. I got into
Nice.
plain Nebraska stuff.
Free plug, baby.
Dude, they rock. Support that place.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get them to sponsor the pod.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Yeah, this was great. Had a good beer. That spicy pickle, it's coming.
It's spicy.
Oh, yeah.
No,
It's coming more than
kick my
Dion.
ass here pretty soon. I'm gonna have to stop at the Quick Trip on the way back.
We'll try to sign off real quick. at NBNR Podcast on X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We are on Spotify,
TikTok.
Apple. I said TikTok.
Did you?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
See, just
Amazon.
I'm on a roll here.
No, Amazon. Don't forget Amazon.
Yes.
I got backdoor Connor interrupting my spiel.
Oh, speaking of Pornhub,
And backdoor Connor.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Spreading it wide.
OnlyFans.
Spreading it. Give us a 5-star review on all those platforms. We would appreciate it. All right, guys. NBNRpodcast.com. NBNRpodcast.com.
We got merch.
Hats.
Evans Custom Apparel.
Yep. Shout out Evans Cousin Apparel. Shout out Hurrdat Sports.
Mike's making Cornfield Jesus merch.
No, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. It was
Okay,
a.
never
it was-
mind. He's
it
not
was-
doing that
yeah,
now.
it was
Special order.
Special order.
Okay.
Hurrdat Sports Bar. Thanks for the food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out Nebraska Garage Solutions, B&B Maids of Omaha. We appreciate all of you.
Okay. I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall,
Mike Delaware.
Kyle Byers.
Connor Cadillac.
David Schumacher.
Shoemaker. As always, beat Northwestern. AGBO.